Hello everyone, welcome back to interviewbuddies.com. In today's video, we are going to talk about exception handling in Python. By the end of this tutorial, you will know how to manage errors in your code effectively. So let's get started. As you can see on my screen, I have two windows open. On the left side, I have the text editor Sublime. On the right side, I have the terminal open. Exceptions are events that disrupt the normal flow of your program, which means that your program doesn't behave as you expected it to behave. So Python uses exceptions to handle errors gracefully. So as you can see on my screen, in this example, the try block contains this piece of code, and specifically line number 5 might raise an exception. So to cover that, to handle that, we have the except block below it. So first block is handling value error. The second except block is handling divide by zero or zero division error. So how it handles. So let's say a number is coming in is 0 and 10 divided by 0 is invalid. And in that case, the Python tries to match which is the closest except block it can go to and then handle the exception. So here in this case, the exception is of type zero division error. So it will print this message. And this value error means that the input is invalid. So if you are expecting user to enter a number there and instead user enters a string that cannot be converted into a number, then that will translate to a value error. So this will be printed. So let's try to run this. So Python, and my file name is exception. So Python exception.py. So it's saying enter a number. If I enter a number 0, it will print cannot divide by 0. Okay. And now if I enter a number which says that hi, hello, then it says that invalid input, which means that this is not a number we were expecting. A happy case is like it just runs if you provide a good number, but we didn't print any output here, so it didn't enter anything. But that is how the flow of this particular code block is. You can also use else and finally blocks. The else block runs if there is no exception, while finally always runs, right? So I'm going to put another example on the screen. In this block, the second block, we are saying that 10 divided by 2, then it's handling exceptions for divide by 0, and then else it's saying division successful, and finally this will always execute. So what it means that if there is any exception in this line 15, it will go to the except block. Okay, and if there is no exception, then it will go to else block and says that okay, your division is successful. But finally is going to get printed always. So let's try this finally with the existing block, the first block, and see how it's working in the above case, and then we will try with the else block. So I'm going to comment all this and run this program. So it's saying enter a number. I'm saying 0. So it said cannot divide by 0, which is your this except block, and finally is going to run anyway. So that's how finally works. Okay, because it executes all the time. Okay, so now let's come down to this block. Let's run this and run this. So division is successful. This will always execute. So that's how the else and finally block runs. Now you can also raise exceptions using the raise keyword. So what a raise keyword is. So let's say you have a specific condition which you want to handle, and which is like not through a user input, but through the conditions you are putting in the code. So this function is saying that check positive, like if the number is positive or not, and in case the number is less than 0, then raise this value error exception. And then in the try catch block, we are saying that this check positive function might throw an error. So we are going to put it in the try block, and we are in the except block, we are catching this exception and printing the exception as it is. So here E is your exception message, which is like negative number, and it will be printed as it is. So if we run this function, it's saying that negative number. So value error here, when with the raise, we are saying value error is a function. In this function, we are passing a message, exception message, and this exception message is getting printed here on line 33. We can change this message like negative numbers are not allowed. Okay, and then your message gets changed. You can also create custom exceptions by defining new class derived from the main class called as exception. How you can do that? I'm going to put another code block on the screen. So in this block, we have a class called as custom error, and which is derived from exception. And we are saying that raise this exception, or raise the exception of the type custom error, which we just created. And here we are passing the error. This is the custom error, and then printing it. So if we run this, this is the custom error. So that's how you can create your custom errors or custom exceptions. All right, and that's how you can handle exceptions in Python using try, except, else, and finally, and custom exceptions. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more tutorials like this. Thanks for watching and happy coding.